All right. Hi, and welcome to our Beef Brunch Educational Series news update for Tuesday, April 27th. My name is Ashley Edwards, and with me are Jason Holmes and Vince Deshotel. I'm going to let Jason kick it off with our information for North Louisiana. If you don't mind just doing the pasture and field update for here, and I guess we can just hold the markets. We'll do the markets at the end.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Well, let's and right before we got on, Vince made a comment about the sun is shining and folks wanting to get out and do things, and that has definitely been the case this past week. A lot of field work, a lot of folks getting fertilizer on the mind, a lot of them getting sticker shock whenever they go to get that fertilizer. And we've talked about that in some of the past news updates about these fertilizer prices. And we're still up here kind of in a phase and we get this way just about every year, where these cool nights keep this Bermuda grass from just really taking off. It's greened up, it's there, but these cool nights will just kind of have it sitting there. So what I've been telling folks and we really need these nights to start warming up a little bit before that Bermuda grass can just really utilize a whole lot of fertilizer. So we still have time. I don't want anybody to think that they've just got to really get out there and get crazy with fertilizing these hay fields and pastures right now, because I think we still have a little time up here anyway, just because of the way the Bermuda grass looks from these cool nights. We've had a lot of folks that have gotten out and gotten some really good high quality baleage put up over the past week. A lot of folks are still putting out a little bit of herbicides. We talked about cypress weeds and some of these other summer annual broadleaves that are popping up this time of year. We can save ourselves a good bit of money in terms of cost per acre on those herbicides if we get those whenever they're young. We've got a lot of folks that are doing that. This past week was a really good week for getting out and working in the fields. They stayed generally dry most of the week. Really didn't have any significant rainfall and towards the end of the week on Friday evening. So we had a really good week for some field work, and we're hoping that this week will prove the same. It looks like we've got some rain coming in towards the middle and the end. Chances a little bit slim right now, but as we all know, with weather in Louisiana, that can change overnight in terms of what we actually get. But that's what it looks like up here right now, Ashley.
All right, thank you. I know in our last news update, Vince, you said wet was the best word to describe it down south, and I had not really driven that far past Alexandria until I guess a week ago Saturday, and I feel like you could take a canoe down every ditch when I was traveling from Alexandria all the way to Amite for our master goat. So how is it looking now, I guess, a week or so later?
Yeah, well, thank y'all for having me again this week, but it's still wet. I mean, we had 2 inches of rain, 2 to 3 inches of rain in areas with the weather coming through on Friday night. We scathed any kind of dangerous weather. I mean, there was predictions of tornadoes and hail and wind, but we had, I don't know of any reports of any kind of damage, but we had a smooth 2 inches of rain across the area, accompanied with that week-long rain we had 2 weeks ago from Tuesday to Friday that gave us, anywhere from 6 to 8 inches. So we're dabbling with, in a 10 to 12 day period, nearing 10 inches of rain. So, pastures are wet. People are strapped down and not be able to do anything as far as putting any kind of fertilizer out. We had some early season herbicides go out, but hay fields are getting rank right now as far as volunteer ryegrass and some of the weed issues that we normally encounter. So we're having some issues getting out, doing some things. Our cropping system, we have a big crop area here. Grain sorghum, we're pushing the window on getting grain sorghum planted. And we hadn't planted grain sorghum in years, and there's a favorable market for it right now, and people have contracts out, and we can't get it in the ground. So it's kind of a bad situation. Most of the corn got planted, but it's pale green to yellow and sick. Water went over some. It's too late to replant. Some of the herbicides have been put out already. So we were just kind of waiting on soybeans. We're going to have some acreage swift to soybeans, and the rice is even slow. I mean, typically we have rice and green ring right now, and it's just a 2 and 3 leaf stage. So it's we're backing up, so to speak. But so it's still wet. As far as the cattle situation, we still got some spring workings going on. We're at the tip end of our spring calving season. People are checking bulls. We've helped a number of people go out and buy some last minute bulls, that either from injuries from the the fall breeding season, which took place in December, January. So we helping people place some bulls for those means coming up here in May, June, July. So but that's just a small number of people having problems. But for the most part, everybody's checking bulls right now and getting vaccine protocols in place for the breeding season coming up May, June, and working spring-born calves. And as Jason mentioned, the fertilizer is we still at a sticker shock level with that. But we still have a bunch of it going out. So I had a couple of calls this morning on some summer pasture fertilizer recommendations. So we're moving forward. Unfortunately, the calf market has softened. Jason will cover that in detail here a little bit later on. But we had a lot of optimism going about 3 weeks ago, and now it's just kind of, we're back in that same old rut. So it's just kind of stagnant right now, to be honest with you. And we got some potential baleage sitting in the field right now that's getting rank, that just can't get in there to do it. But we get this week they're given 4 good days of weather, and then again rain chances on Thursday and Friday, and clearing up. Hopefully we miss it. So moving forward, it's it's coming on May 1st, and we need to get things warmed up and moving. So that's about all I have. Just wet.
Yeah, it really is wet. I mean, like I said, I knew it was bad, but I didn't know how bad till I was driving down there, and that was really before the big rain came through. So since you mentioned baleage and things like that, if y'all missed our monthly webinar for the Beef Brunch series, Jason and Lee both came on and talked about hay and baleage production. We have that recorded. It is on our YouTube channel and our Beef Brunch website, but I'll link it in the podcast and video descriptions here. I also want to go ahead and advertise our webinar for next month. So remember, these are live events, and if you can jump on during the live event, it's great because you get a chance to ask the presenter questions. And we're really excited to have Dr. Daryl Peel. He is an extension livestock marketing specialist for Oklahoma State University. And he talks in these events all over the nation. He does a fantastic job, and we're excited to have him as our guest speaker coming up in May. So that is going to be May 11th. That's Tuesday, May 11th at 10:30 a.m. will be our live event. And we really hope that you can jump on there. I'll have all that information up on the Beef Brunch webpage. That's always linked in the descriptions for this as well. So with that, I think that's all the big events that we have coming up.
Ashley?
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to mention, I know this is southern part of the state, and I don't know where the vast majority of our listeners will be tuning in from, but our Evangeline Cattlemen's Association is having an in-person field day this weekend on Saturday, May the 1st. We have a lineup of guest speakers. Ron Strahan's going to be there talking weeds, and a number of other industry folks talking marketing issues and stuff. And they've opened it up to the public. It's one of the first in-person field days from a parish association. So we'd like to make everybody aware of that. If they need more information about it, they can contact me either by email or call me on my cell phone at 337-831-1635. It'll start at 9 o'clock in the morning with the lunch provided.
Do you need an RSVP for that lunch?
No, just show up. They said that they'll have plenty.
Okay. And that reminds me, we do have our Hill Farm Beef and Forage Field Day. So it's our Northwest Region Beef and Forage Field Day. It's going to be at the Hill Farm Research Station in Homer. That's coming up this Thursday. That should be the 29th, April 29th. We did ask for RSVPs on that. So if you're interested and this is the first you're hearing about it, please contact me so that way I can get your RSVP in. Hopefully we'll have lunch provided for you there as well. So Jason mentioned earlier the rain in the forecast. It's scheduled for Thursday when we have our field day. So we're kind of hoping it pushes off later into the afternoon. I think we start at 9:30 for that. and we go until 2 o'clock. So if you have questions on that, you can contact me, and my information will be in the video and podcast descriptions. So Jason, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you for our market report.
All right, thank you, ma'am. So Vince, I think the best way to put it, you mentioned the softening of the calf market is 1 step forward and 2 steps backwards. We gained a good bit of ground, really looked positive, and then it just seems like we fall behind again. But we'll look at that in just a second. So we mentioned last time, we are continuing to move into the grilling season, and if you look at some of our capacity numbers, processors are going to need to pick up rail speeds here pretty soon in order to keep up with this fed supply. So to give you an idea what those numbers look like in feedlots of a capacity of 1,000 head or more, on feed for greater than 120 days. Right now, we're at just over 4.5 million head. This time last year, we were only at 3.8 million head. 5-year average, 4.2 million head. So we're well above last year and well above 5-year averages in terms of our fed cattle supply right now, based on those that have been on feed over 120 days. That being those cattle that are they're getting real close to harvest weight. So those processors are going to have to speed up those rail speeds in order to keep up with that supply. Choice box beef cutout values continue at seasonal climb. So they've jumped $26 in just the past few weeks. They're currently at $280 a hundredweight. So to give you an idea of where we are in terms of a 5-year average for this time of year, we're sitting at about $52 a hundredweight higher in terms of a 5-year average. The National Weekly Cattle and Beef Summary showed an estimated 665,000 head harvested for the week ending April 23rd. So that's 25,000 head more than the previous week. Dressed weights, 829 pounds. So fed prices in the South were reportedly mostly at 120. In the North, primarily 122 to 124. To close out the week in the 5-area feeding region, fed steer negotiated cash sales ranged 118 to 124. So that's down $1 to $2 from a week ago on a confirmed 57,564 head. Some most recent futures quotes showed June up 60 cents at 116.32, August up $1.05 at 117.90, October up 90 cents at 122.95. So it's good that we are trading up in those markets in the futures. However, we've lost about $5 to $6 in ground there in those futures markets for those fed cattle. Just wait till I tell you what we've lost in the feeders. 500 to 600 pound steers, medium and large 1s and 2s, sold between 147.25 and 153.99. So that is $8 to $16 lower from the previous week in those 5 to 6 weights. 700 to 800 pound feeder steers, medium and large 1s and 2s, sold between 128.53 and 129.03. So that's $3 to $8.50 lower from the previous week. Most recent quotes on that same class showed May trading up 2 cents at 137.70, August up 52 cents at 150.42, and September up 47 cents at 152.52. So again, trading up. However, we've lost about $10 on those feeder type cattle in the futures market. So definitely 2 steps back there. It was not a good week for the cattle markets for sure. Lean cull cows were steady from the previous week, ranging 55 cents to 61 cents. So we've started seeing those lean cull cow prices level off a little bit. If you've got some of those cattle that have got a little higher or maybe a little more fat on them, maybe not quite as lean, you can get some pretty good prices on them at this time. But for those lean cattle, they pretty much leveled out. Moving into our feedstuffs, so the soybean meal up $15.40 a ton at $430.40 a ton. Soybean hulls are steady at $155 a ton. Cottonseed meal trading down $82.50 at $372.50 a ton. That is great news that we're seeing that cottonseed meal, which is a major component of a lot of our feedstuffs, taking that kind of plunge. Whole cottonseed is steady at $340 a ton. Rice bran steady at $140 a ton. Corn gluten feed meal, that's the 60% at $710 a ton. DDGs are steady at $197 a ton. And the news that is, it just dominated the markets this week. Corn is still going up. So corn is up 30 cents a bushel at $5.43 a bushel. And that one right there has just dominated the news cycle in terms of what it's doing to our feeder or our feedlot market anyway, in terms of what that's doing to cost of gain. I mean, we really need that to start falling off a little bit so we can get these feeders a little bit more profitable. But I'll leave it there, Ashley, and turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you. So I think that about wraps it up for us today. We'll be back with you in 2 weeks. So that is going to be the same day as our monthly webinar next month on May 11th. So again, please try to join us at 10:30 a.m. For Dr. Daryl Peel's market talk for our monthly webinar. And we will see y'all then. Thank you.